this analysis, we will look at some films with traditional objects or something that is used to move past an event or time in a person's life, and comfort objects, something that is used to replace something or someone in a person's life, most of the time dealing with children. Our first example of these kinds of objects can be seen in our first film, The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Take a look.
We were best friends and about to spend our first summer apart.
How about the swims? You try them on.
But a pair of pants
Ta-da!
would keep us together.
You think that a pair of jeans that fits all three of you is going to fit all of this?
This summer, we'll share them equally and they'll travel among us.
The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants is a film that is a perfect example of a transitional object in an adult person's life. Basically, these four girls are best friends since birth but have come to a time in their lives where they are starting to grow apart. That is, until they find a pair of old jeans at a Goodwill that miraculously fit all their different body types perfectly. It is then decided that these jeans are going to be passed around during the summer where each of them will be spending time in different places. In this case, the jeans in the film are the transitional object for these four girls. Immediately, the girls place extreme value on these jeans because they fit them all. It is then that the jeans develop into something they can use to keep their friendship from drifting like they feared it would before. They created a fantasy that these jeans could save their friendship when they felt turmoil. Our second example is of the character Linus in the cartoon Peanuts and his blanket. This blanket is seen with him constantly and is more of a classic transitional object regarding children. As you can see, Linus and his blanket are inseparable. He goes everywhere and does everything with his blanket. This is consistent throughout the entire cartoon series. There's even an episode where he doesn't have his blanket and he goes through a sort of withdrawal. Wincott helps explain Linus's attachment to his blanket when he states, "What I am calling transitional phenomena, it is what becomes vitally important to the infant or youth at the time of going to sleep, and is a defense against anxiety, especially anxiety of depressive type." What Wincott is trying to explain is that Linus began using his blanket as a replacement for his mother, but eventually the blanket became more important. The blanket is now Linus's security and protection in his mind. It is literally his security blanket. It helps him mentally feel like someone is always with him and that he is not alone. That is important during the developmental stages of children until they eventually learn to have the security on their own. In our next example, we will be examining the relationship between Sam and Robert Neville in I Am Legend. This is an example of how transitional objects can be developed in adulthood to get through trauma.
No. Eat your vegetables. Don't just push them around. Eat them. I'm not playing. Okay. You're going to eat your vegetables. We will sit down here all night. What are you whining about? Why didn't you just eat your vegetables? Hey, all right, here's the deal. Look. You're going to eat twice as many vegetables tomorrow night. All right? Deal? Deal? Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing gonna be alright. That feels good. Sam.
In this film, Robert Neville is the last surviving human, or he thinks, after an apocalyptic phenomena, who continues to live on with his dog Sam. Being that Sam is the only living creature that Robert interacts with at this point, he develops a very strong connection with him, even stronger than the already strong relationship people develop with their pets, as seen in this clip. Sam is also the dog that Robert's family adopted right after they died in a helicopter accident. Therefore, he is Robert's last connection to his family. When looking at the relationship between Robert and his dog Sam, we notice a similar relationship in the children's book Duck, Death, and the Tulip. Duck and Death become very close friends, and in the end, when Duck dies, Death has a realization of what Duck meant to him. He then comes back to reality and begins to understand that is how life works and that he must move on with his life, just like Robert had to do after Sam died. The last film we will be showing is Ted. In this film, we are able to see a rare transitional object that began with a young child and eventually carries him all the way into adulthood.
Understand. I really don't. 35 years old and you're still scared of a little thunder.
I am not.
Thunder buddies for life, right, Johnny?
Fucking right.
All right, come on, let's sing the thunder song.
All right.
When you hear the sound of thunder, don't you get too scared. Just grab your thunder buddy and say these magic words. Fuck you, thunder, you can suck my dick. You can't get me thunder, cause you're just God's farts.
In this film, we saw a young boy's childhood transitional object, a classic teddy bear. John Bennett never had to let go of his transitional object because of his magical childhood wish for his teddy bear to come to life. Even though John Bennett has been in a long-term relationship, he still has dependency for certain things he still needs to face in his everyday life. We get to see a first-hand view in this clip of him and Ted singing the thunder song during a thunderstorm. Now that you have a better idea of what a transitional object is through the examples we have provided, think back. Have you had a transitional object in your life? If you have, what was it and how did it help you through your transition? Hey Julie, I'm gonna record now.